In the far mountains of Kyoto, there was a small temple hidden beneath the mist. It was not known for its size or its treasures, but for a particular monk, quiet, weathered, and always smiling, who never drank his tea properly. He drank from the same clay cup day after day, even though it had a small, visible hole at the bottom. Water dripped, every sip interrupted, every serving unfinished. Disciples watched in confusion, but none dared ask. Only one did, a young novice named Rei, barely 16, eager to learn, eager to understand, and, as many young minds do, impatient. Rei saw the monk again, cup in hand, water dripping, and this time he could not contain it. "Master," Rei asked, bowing, "why do you drink from a cup that leaks?" "It wastes water, interrupts your practice. Why not simply replace it?" The monk looked down at the dripping cup, then up at Rei, and smiled, but he said nothing. Instead, he simply poured more water into it, watched it leak, and walked away. Rei was stunned. A question was asked, but no answer came. Or maybe that was the answer. Later that day, in the meditation hall, the sound of water dripping echoed in Rei's ears. Tap, tap, tap. He could not focus. Every drop reminded him of the leaking cup, every silence filled with questions. What did it mean? Why waste water? Why choose what is broken? Rei's thoughts were like a monkey in a cage, rattling, pacing, pulling. Rei once saw the master shaping clay, hands steady, breath slow. "Perfection is not the goal," he had said. "Presence is." Was this cup a teaching, a metaphor, or was it simply old? That night, Rei couldn't sleep. The monk's silence lingered louder than words. The leak, the drip, they weren't just in the cup. They were in his mind, in his need to fix, to question, to understand. By dawn, he rose with determination. He would try again. Rei brought the monk a new cup. Beautiful, smooth, no cracks, no leaks. He offered it with both hands. The old monk looked at it, then at Rei, and smiled once more. He accepted the cup, bowed gently, and poured tea into the old cracked one instead, the same one with the hole. And again, the water leaked. This time, the monk gestured toward the drip, softly. "Watch," he said. Rei crouched down, following the drop with his eyes. It hit the earth below, softly absorbed into the soil. Gone. The monk whispered, "The earth drinks too." Rei blinked. "The earth drinks?" He didn't understand. "But isn't it wasted?" he asked. "The water doesn't stay with you." The monk tilted his head, gently. "Must it stay?" he asked. "Do we drink only to be full?" Rei was silent. The monk tapped the cup and said, "This cup reminds me. What we try to hold on to often finds its own way to flow." Rei suddenly remembered his mother, how she clung to his father's robe when he left for war, how she kept his shoes by the door long after he never returned. She tried to hold on, but he never came back. She too was like the leaking cup, trying to stay full while life kept pouring through the cracks. The monk sits under a tree. Rei sat beside him now. He said nothing, he just watched the water drip, and for the first time, he didn't try to stop it. Rei began noticing things he hadn't before. The monk never rushed, never explained. He taught without teaching. One afternoon, as clouds moved lazily overhead, Rei asked quietly, "Why don't you fix the cup?" The monk looked at the dripping tea, then said only one word: calm. Why? Ray hesitated. He was a man of action, a fixer, a builder. That's what he'd always done. But now, he began to wonder, had he been patching up life's cracks so he didn't have to see through them? Monk walking through a garden. Ray follows. They passed a flower, wilted, yet beautiful. A butterfly danced above it briefly and left. The monk pointed to the petals. They bloom, he said, not to last, but to offer. Ray said nothing, but he felt something shift inside. He was beginning to understand. The purpose of the cup was never to keep the water. It was to receive and let go. Small boy in the village drops his toy and cries. Ray watches from a distance. Instead of rushing to fix or comfort, he kneels beside the boy and simply places a hand on his back. No words, no repairs, just presence. Back in the temple, Ray finds himself using the old cup too. He pours tea into it, watches it leak, and for once, he smiles. There is a wisdom in things that don't last, a kindness in the things we let go. The cracked cup, the fading sunset, the fleeting smile, they teach us nothing is ours to keep. Everything is ours to experience. The leak continues, steady, gentle, like time itself. The time had come. Ray had been there for a month, maybe more, he never asked. He stood beside the monk, looking out over the valley. Birds soared in the golden light. A soft wind stirred the leaves. The monk held out the cracked cup. Ray took it with both hands. A tear formed in his eye, but he did not wipe it away. "Thank you," he whispered. The monk nodded, but said nothing. As he descended the steps he had once rushed up, the silence followed him. But it no longer felt empty. It felt full. The birdsong, the rustling trees, the beat of his heart. Each one was its own kind of teaching. Ray in his home, same desk, same shelves, but something's changed. He places the cracked cup on his desk. A client walks in. "Why do you keep that broken thing?" they ask. Ray smiles gently. "It reminds me," he says, "that not everything has to be fixed. Some things just have to be seen." He no longer chased perfection, no longer feared the leak, because in that tiny crack he had found peace. The cup was never broken. It simply knew how to let go. We spend our lives trying to fill cups with success, with love, with answers. But true wisdom is knowing when to let them be empty. Screen fades to black. A single line appears. Let go. That's where the peace begins.